The classic Mega Man games. From 1 to 10, each one of them was beloved by gaming critics, myself included. However, just because they revolutionized Capcom's career doesn't mean they're impervious to flaws. This brings my first double list. Top 5 best and worst Robot Masters. No.
Continue.
This list is to celebrate Mega Man's upcoming 30th anniversary in December. So considering this and the live stream to close off the year, it's gonna be a rough month. Also, I've only played Mega Man 1 to 6 so far. So if you're expecting Grenade Man or Shade Man on my best list, watch another list on the best Robot Masters and vice versa. Without further ado, let's jump and shoot into number 5 worst. Bright Man. You might be asking yourself, why would you put your old icon in the list? That and his weapon is pretty alright. It may just be another time stopper, but it is still great in concept and gives the ability to shoot. So what's wrong?
What?
You just take a look at the light bulb head and you'll think he's not threatening, but he is. It is extremely difficult with the terrible grasshopper segments and cheap platforming. In his boss fight, he not only rips off Skullman, but also cheap shots you with his flash stopper and jumps in a way where it's a fact that you'll get hit.
Oh gosh.
Also, it's funny how Flashman uses his time stopper. He's able to shoot you while you can't, and the opposite goes with Bright Man. Mostly for Bright Man.
Okay, so that was number 5 worst.
Worst. Number 5 best. Metal Man. You're probably thinking, why isn't number 1? He's perfect.
Yes.
Well, that's because I like the others more. But with all my humongous flaw of him, let's get to the positives. His design shows that this dentist does not need to be in your house. His series is definitely hard, but still fun with the conveyor belt and pure satisfaction of beating up screws. His boss fight puts up a good fight, the arena being the driving force of it with one more conveyor belt, and the boss himself literally switching sides to increase difficulty levels. However, the weapon is more broken than your teeth if it had been attacked by Metal Man. I don't need to scrape the bottom of the barrel though. Watch other YouTubers if you want to know what it does. Number 4 worst. Heat Man. To start off, he's a human trash can with a literal belly button. But like Bright Man and the Robot Masters coming up on the worst list, you will be underestimated, considering its stage consists of nothing but annoying jack-in-the-box enemies, disappearing blocks, and instant kill lava. When you actually get to him, the game takes a reversed difficulty spike. His attacks are easy to avoid, and if you time it right, you can actually make it throughout the entire fight with him never attacking you with his flame attack, and without you getting hit at all. Yeah, this is Toad Man before Toad Man for you, with less of an excuse for me. Plus, the atomic fire is a good idea, ruined by extreme stamina consumption, long charge-up times, and the disadvantages of A, being wide open to attacks while charging up, and B, having the charge shot being a bigger version of the regular shot. So riddle me this, Batman. What is the word purely crafted this Robot Master's first name that resembles my emotions toward it? Number 4 best. Elec Man.
Whoa!
This is mostly personal experiences, but Elec Man still deserves a spot on the list. First off, his design is simple, yet as effective as a lightning strike. His stage can be fun, with the small lightning cannon section and the ladder climbing section of the eye cannons, also Hyper Beam. But his boss fight was really easy from my point of view. That is because I ended up trapping Elec Man in the corner, where he barely did any damage to me. His weapon is the best one ever though, with a famous glitch, a wide range, high power, and an ability that makes the super arm feel even more useless than it already is. The Thunder Beam is an unstoppable lightning rod. But the thing that makes this Robot Master stand out is that it's what introduced me to this classic series in the first place. After I got my present for Passover and I had to wait for Mega Man 1 till 6 to be able to get my iPad, I picked Lucky Man first in the original Mega Man, and the rest is history. You know what they say, you can't have technology without electricity.
Oh, yes.
Number 3, worst. Iceman!
Iceman.
We're going from my favorite Robot Master in the original series, I'm going to my least favorite. Talk about steady progression. But anyways, on to Iceman himself. His design may not be as bad as the previous two or the upcoming two, but it's still overly cutesy. His stage is the first in the classic series to incorporate disappearing blocks and as annoying enemies. His fight is stupidly packed with bad timing, boredom, and repetition. Also, the Ice Slash doesn't do its job well. It can freeze enemies in fire, but the problem with that is, A, after a while, the enemies or fire may return back to their natural state, and B, the fire thing is hard to do with more bad timing. Also, it can't attack any enemy with the exception of Fireman, and once you freeze any enemy, the game may limit your decisions to the point where you can't progress until it's not frozen anymore. One of the ways they could make him better, though, is if they gave him pickaxes. No, wait! Number 3, best. Tomahawk Man. Tomahawk Man is just really cool. His design slightly represents the Indian culture and it works really well. His stage has good music and pretty backgrounds, but there is one big problem. It's not good enough in the gameplay. Everything's pretty forgettable, with the exception of the mini-boss and the Colton enemies. But the mini-boss is only memorable because A, it just shoots out enemies, and B, it appears multiple times throughout the stage. But the actual boss fight makes up for it. It's actually more challenging and more fun at the same time. The weapon's sprite may just be the gyro attacks with a different coloring, but the weapon still does a pretty good job in terms of gameplay. Even if he isn't the best Robot Master, he's still the only one I can consider pretty good. If I were him, I would certainly want to cut to the head of number 2, worst. Woodman.
Oh, yeah.
This is the perfect definition of a Robot Master that you want to stump. The design makes you wonder if Wiley failed to log into his computer, instead gave some guy a sliced tray costume and a force before leaving. Oh. That guy also knows a bit too much about ambushes, since he called the toughest forces of nature imaginable in the world. Not to mention being the strongest in his family tree, yet giving you 4 leaves to stalk around your body. No apple falls from this tree, as the tree is not worthy of an apple. Apples are delicious if you didn't know. Number 2, best. Crystal Man and Napalm Man. I put both of these Robot Masters on the list as they're both equally good. Their designs are cool, their stages are tough, and their boss fights are fun, but their weapons are lacking. There are 2 Robot Masters on the Sentry, they're ready to rock it.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to mention this is my first top 5 list with this feature. But anyways, here are some Robot Masters that could have made it into the worst list, but were either a bit better or as bad as the other candidates on the list. Bubble Man, Ring Man, Stone Man, and Wind Man. Honorable mention list number 2. As for the honorable mentions for the best list, there were a lot to compete, but I'm going to mention them anyways, so here they are. The Robot Masters that could have made the best list, but either a bit better, but either a bit worse, or at the same level as some Robot Masters on my list. Yamato Man, Gravity Man, Magnet Man, Shadow Man, Night Man, Flame Man, and Gemini Man. Or Gemini Men.
Men. Exactly.
Number 1, worst.
Are you ready
Blizzard
for that?
Man.
It's Blizzard Man.
This is not just the worst Robot Master ever, probably the worst thing ever. To start off this abysmal notion, his design doesn't work at all. This is a hockey snowball. His stage is mostly forgettable like Tomic Man's. The only parts that stick out are the annoying sunken ship parts and that stupid entrance puzzle. However, his boss fight is really easy. All he does is shoot easy dodge snowflakes and roll. Speaking of snowflakes, his weapon barely deals damage and has an extremely small chance to actually hit an enemy. But the worst part? When I played the classic Mega Man games, I went by the weakness chain. That means that after I got the weapon of a really decent Robot Master, I had to beat the stage of a snowball. I don't even know a joke for this one, and if I did put a joke in the segment, it would be a pun. Oh, the irony.
Oh, the irony. Go, go, Blizzard Man. Away you go.
Number 1, best.
Are you ready for number 1?
Best.
Best.
Quick Man! Quick Man ran the Sphere of Sound to the number 1 spot on the best list. His design is slick and cool. His stage is hard but a lot of fun too. Style modes include the laser segments, of course, the modes with Sniper Joe Mechs, what's Flashman's stage failed to pull off well, and the segments where only the enemies can light up the room, what Shadow Man's stage failed to pull off well. His boss fight is also not too difficult but not too easy. It actually has a lot of build-up towards it and the surprise was very welcoming. The battle also has a good reasoning for its weaknesses. Then there's his weapon. It may not be the best weapon in the game or even best in Mega Man 2. I mean the best weapon in the series. But it's still awesome with a high fire rate, a good amount of damage, a neat concept and a cool ability where you can literally backstab your enemies. Also, let me just say this. This list is a spiritual successor to how this channel started. You might be saying, this list has nothing to do with your intro. True, but that's actually not how this channel started. The main idea for this channel started off with the top 5 best and worst Pokemon. It was 2 years ago in the same month, but we ended up scrapping it. Why is that? I have no idea. I'll see you in a flash in my Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle review. Bye guys!
Bye!